Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're whisking you away to a place where magic isn't just in the air, but also in the oven. Get ready for a heartwarming tale straight from the coziest corner of the countryside, where a very special cat and an even more special recipe are about to make some unforgettable memories. Our story begins in the charming, sun-dappled village of Meadowbrook. Imagine rolling green hills, a babbling brook, and houses that look like they've been plucked from a storybook. And in one of those houses lives Mrs. Gable, a kind soul with a twinkle in her eye and a heart full of warmth. She's known throughout Meadowbrook for her incredible baking, but also for her quiet, gentle nature. She lived a peaceful life, her days filled with gardening, reading, and, of course, baking. The scent of vanilla and warm sugar often drifted from her kitchen window, a welcoming beacon to anyone nearby. But Mrs. Gable wasn't alone in her quiet world. Oh no, she had a very unique visitor. Picture this, a sleek black short-haired cat with the most brilliant, sparkling emerald green eyes you've ever seen. This was Whiskers. Whiskers wasn't just any cat. He was a cat of discerning tastes, a connoisseur of comfort, and a secret admirer of Mrs. Gable's baking. Every afternoon, like clockwork, Whiskers would saunter up to Mrs. Gable's kitchen window, his tail a polite question mark, his green eyes fixed on the delicious activities inside. He was a silent observer, a fluffy shadow, mesmerized by the clinking of bowls and the sweet aromas. One particular afternoon, Mrs. Gable was preparing to make one of her signature treats, cat's tongue cookies. Now, these aren't just any cookies. They're delicate, crispy, and melt-in-your-mouth delicious, shaped just like a cat's tongue. It's a classic, beloved recipe, and Whiskers, peering in through the window, seemed to understand that something special was brewing. He sat there, his head tilted, watching every move Mrs. Gable made, almost as if he was taking notes. Mrs. Gable, with her usual calm demeanor, noticed Whiskers. She often left out a small saucer of milk for him, a quiet acknowledgement of their shared afternoon ritual. Today, however, Whiskers seemed more engrossed than usual. A little chuckle escaped Mrs. Gable's lips. "Well, Whiskers," she said softly, as if he could understand every word, "looks like you're ready for your baking lesson today, aren't you?" And believe it or not, Whiskers blinked slowly, a gesture that Mrs. Gable interpreted as a resounding yes. So let's dive into the magical world of Mrs. Gable's kitchen and learn how to make these delightful cat's tongue cookies, just like Whiskers did. Mrs. Gable began by gathering her ingredients, each one carefully selected. The first step, she explained, even to her feline audience, is all about preparation. First things first, you need to preheat your oven to a cozy 180 degrees Celsius. That's about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. While the oven is warming up, grab a baking tray and line it with some trusty parchment paper. This helps prevent sticking and makes cleanup a breeze. Mrs. Gable always said, "A clean kitchen is a happy kitchen, and a happy kitchen makes happy cookies." Next up, the heart of our cookie batter. In a spacious bowl, Mrs. Gable combined unsalted butter, softened to room temperature, with a generous amount of granulated sugar. Then the magic truly began. She took her electric mixer and creamed the butter and sugar together until the mixture transformed into a light, fluffy, almost cloud-like consistency. This step is crucial, friends, because it incorporates air into the batter, which makes the cookies wonderfully tender and delicate. Whiskers, perched on a chair he wasn't usually allowed on, watched the mixer worry with intense curiosity, his ears twitching with every sound. After achieving that perfect fluffy base, it was time for the egg whites. Mrs. Gable explained that using only egg whites is what gives these cookies their signature crispness and pale color. She added them one at a time, mixing well after each addition. This ensures that each egg white is fully incorporated, creating a smooth and cohesive batter. "Patience, Whiskers," she'd murmur, "is key to perfect pastries." And Whiskers would simply nod, or at least, that's what Mrs. Gable imagined he was doing. To elevate the flavor, Mrs. Gable stirred in a splash of pure vanilla extract. Oh, the aroma of vanilla. It's truly one of the most comforting scents in the world, isn't it? It just fills the kitchen with warmth and promise. And to balance all that sweetness, she added just a tiny pinch of salt. Don't skip the salt, folks. It enhances all the other flavors, making them pop. Whiskers let out a soft purr, clearly approving of the delicious smells now filling the room. Now for the dry ingredients, Mrs. Gable carefully sifted all-purpose flour into the batter. Sifting is super important here, as it removes any lumps and ensures the flour is light and airy, which contributes to the cookie's delicate texture. She gradually folded in the sifted flour, being careful not to overmix. Overmixing can develop the gluten in the flour too much, leading to tough cookies, and we definitely want light and crispy ones. She continued until the batter was smooth and beautifully combined. It looked almost like a thick, glossy cream. With the batter ready, it was time for the fun part, shaping. Mrs. Gable took out a piping bag fitted with a small round tip. If you don't have a piping bag, no worries. A sturdy plastic bag with a small corner snipped off works just as well. She then expertly piped thin lines of batter, each about 5 to 6 centimeters or 2 inches long, onto the prepared baking tray. She made sure to leave a little space between them, because these little beauties will spread out a bit as they bake. Whiskers watched, utterly captivated, as perfect little tongues appeared on the parchment paper. He looked like he was ready to try his paw at piping himself. Finally, it was oven time. Mrs. Gable carefully slid the baking tray into the preheated oven. The kitchen was now filled with the most heavenly aroma, a blend of butter, vanilla, and sugar. The cookies would bake for about 7 to 9 minutes, or until their edges turned a lovely golden brown. It's important to remember that the centers should remain pale, almost white. This ensures they stay delicate and not overly crisp. Once baked, she gently removed them from the oven. She let the cookies cool on the tray for a couple of minutes, just to let them firm up slightly. Then, with the grace of a seasoned baker, she transferred them to a wire rack to cool completely. This helps them achieve that perfect crispness all around. The cat's tongue cookies were a vision, perfectly uniform, pale in the center, golden at the edges, and absolutely irresistible. Whiskers, who had patiently observed the entire process, finally hopped down, his tail swishing with anticipation. Mrs. Gable gave him a gentle stroke and a tiny, cookie-free pat. "Almost ready, Whiskers," she whispered. Just as the last batch of cookies was cooling, the front door gently opened. "I'm home, Grandma," chirped a bright voice. It was little blonde Lily, Mrs. Gable's granddaughter, just home from school. Her backpack slung over one shoulder, a wide smile lighting up her face. Lily was a bundle of energy, always eager for an afternoon snack and a story from her grandma. The moment she stepped into the kitchen, her nose twitched. Something smells amazing," she exclaimed, dropping her backpack and rushing over to the counter. Her eyes lit up as she saw the rows of delicate cookies. "Oh, Grandma, are those cat's tongue cookies?" she asked, her voice filled with delight. Mrs. Gable chuckled. "They certainly are, my dear, fresh out of the oven and just cooled enough to enjoy." Lily, without a moment's hesitation, reached for one. She admired its delicate shape, its perfect pale center, and its crisp golden edges. She took a tiny bite, and her eyes widened in pure bliss. "Oh, Grandma, these are the best," she declared, her mouth full. Whiskers, who had been observing Lily's arrival, gave a soft meow. He looked from Lily to the cookies, then back to Lily, almost as if he was saying, "See, I told you they were good." Lily, ever observant, noticed Whiskers. "Even Whiskers loves them, don't you, boy?" giggled, offering a small crumb from her cookie, which Whiskers delicately sniffed before giving her a look that clearly communicated, "I prefer to observe the whole, perfect specimen. Thank you very much." Lily continued to munch on the cookies, her small hands carefully picking them up. She absolutely adored cat's tongue cookies. The simple, elegant sweetness, the delicate crunch, and how they just melted in her mouth. She couldn't get enough. "Do you like cat's tongue, Grandma?" she asked, her eyes twinkling. Mrs. Gable smiled warmly. "I do, darling, especially when they're made with love." And Whiskers, curled up by the window, basking in the afternoon sun, seemed to agree. It was a perfect afternoon in Meadowbrook, filled with the warmth of family, the comfort of delicious baking, and the quiet companionship of a very special cat. It goes to show that some of the best moments in life are the simplest ones, shared with those we care about, over a plate of freshly baked cookies. So, tell me in the comments below, do you like cat's tongue cookies? Have you ever tried making them? And what's your favorite comforting cookie recipe? I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed our little story, and hit that subscribe button so you aren't miss out on more adventures and delicious recipes from our kitchen to yours. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.